Howdy gamers, this is Lark with Games and Gaming Miniatures, and I hope you're having a great day. We're back with OSTRIV. Unfortunately, I lost my last save file, so we're going to restart from the very beginning. And our city originally was doing so well, but we're going to go ahead and try again, and this time I'm going to incorporate the patches into my new videos in a much better way. For starters, if you are new, this options button here will let you reset your key bindings and your audio. I've turned the music off, mostly because people have said that it helps with the quality of my tutorial videos. And also use the big cursor button. On key bindings, I know I changed a few of mine. I'll try to remember what to tell you on the key bindings, but you know, you can always click, alright, to look at them and see what the default is. Alright, this area here is for your video quality. Normal is the highest setting right now. If you're having issues, you might be able to tone it down a little bit. I found many games that will let you do that. One of the keys I do know that you need to do is make sure your video card driver is up to date. Sometimes that can cause issues in games, especially with some of these engines. Next, I don't touch the FPS limit. The autosave, leave it at 2 for now. Every 2 minutes it's going to save your game. What this will do is if you crash, you might be able to pull up one of these save files and start from there, and if it keeps crashing, you can rename that save file, contact the developers. Information at the bottom of your screen down here tells you how to report the bug, but also on their discussion group on the store page where you're playing from. There's a discussion page here. I'm sure some of you have seen it on other games. You can post information there. They've got a section there telling you what to do when you find a bug. And what that will let you do is give them a raw file from your save game to take a look at the game and see if they can recreate your bug. In some cases, you might be able to continue playing. In others, it may crash every time. That's the kind of file they want to take a look at. They'll use it to help them figure out what the bug is with the game. In this case, this game, the developer has done a great job. The game is fairly stable for most systems. It also has some basics in it, and he's worked on it pretty hard, and the 3 patches since he released it tells you he's serious about doing a good job. Next, you've got your languages, English and Ukrainian. That's what the other language is if you're not familiar with it. Also is your screen size. Some of you may have bigger monitors. If you have a bigger monitor, you might want to look at your UI scale. I know at the beginning some complaints where people couldn't read their little icons because they were using the much bigger monitors, and so they went in and had to add some more scales, and as you can see they got up to 300%, and here you can get smaller. You will have to restart the game to change this. Be careful when you're playing with this because it will affect what you can see on the screen, what you can see on your pop-ups. It doesn't just affect the one area. Alright, so we're going to go back in here and we're going to start a new game. I'm going to click on this. Here's your games. There's 4, 5, 7, and 8. I don't know what happened to 1 through 3 or 5 even. But I like 7. First thing I'm going to do when I come in here is hit this pause button. Make sure you do this. Stop the game, pause it, because you've got some things that are on a time limit to get done. And it always works best when you first start out if you pause the game. Alright, so now I'm going to use my right mouse button to spin it around, just like that. I'm going to use my left mouse button to move with my, like that, click and drag. And also I've set my default keys on my arrows to move it around too. So I pretty much have a lot of control over this. Also, we're going to go over here and look around. I know there's usually stone right in here. This is going to matter later because we will need stone for something on one of the other episodes. There's some more there. And I found out in one of my earlier videos that they have limestone there. These are things that you can buy, but the stone you can't. The limestone, you don't need to buy the stone. You'll be able to buy lime itself. That's the processed after this is all processed. Now, let's look at your screen. I'm going to close this for a minute because I'm not really concerned about that area right now. And let's take a look at the top of your screen. Do you see the top up here? A lot of your information is going to pop up there and down through here. Alright, choose the camp location for your settlers camp. Over in this corner, they're going to give you instructions on what you need to do. So if you say, let's say that they know you need the forestry building, it's going to pop up and say, oh, you need a forestry building, you don't have one. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you that map itself. There's your boundary marker. What a boundary marker is, it's an area of the map that the developers don't want you to cross to do anything. And in some cases, they're going to get rid of that later on down the road once they've worked all the bugs out of the game. That's to expand the map. Or they just made this look nice over here, but this is the actual gameplay area over here. If you look over here, we won't be able to place anything over there till we build a bridge. But we can build all the way over, and if I could find the red line, there's the bottom part of it. Let's see, there's the right side of it, see? So we can build all the way over to here inside this box. And the other top of it's up there somewhere. So you get an idea of how this works. Now, first thing they want us to do is place a settlers camp. That's the message they're giving us here. Over here where I showed you to pause the game, this is 1 times the speed, 5, then 12. We'll be using this quite a bit because I like running it fast, but I will pause to talk to you about stuff. Here's the time a month. Right now it's not going to be as huge of a factor as it will be, say, in December. But we can watch it click off here. Down here's the year. Right here's where we talk about our population. Since we have not got our camp center placed yet, we have no people, nothing here. See all this? We have 0. Alright. How many unemployed women and men? None, because we don't have anybody placed. This is an area right here I want you to concentrate on looking at. This is the migration status. Migration is when people come from off the map to live in your city. Sometimes people already living in your city will move into a new house, or they will move in from the map. You can generally tell this by what kind of food they have when they move into the house, because people coming in from off the map will have a big, huge selection, whereas the people already on the map just have the things you offer. Now, the red areas are the conditions you have to satisfy before somebody will move into your city. You see the water supply? Well, the reason it's red is because they have a well in the camp. And once I place it, that'll go green. Market, well, we'll get into that a little later, but like houses, we don't have any place to live permanent. Everybody's living in tents. And no jobs available. Well, there's no jobs because we're not producing anything yet. Over here's our money. This thing will like continually fall until we get control over it by building a town hall. And even then, it's still going to go down. Now, here's our map. Alright, this is the general area of where you are. See, just click it around. See, watch it move around. And map edge right there, it's laid out for you. See the dotted lines? So you can build anywhere in this area. Alright, this lets you open and close it. Right here is the main menu. World map. This is a world map. This will come into play later. But you know there's 3 other cities. The boats don't do anything, and I'm halfway wondering if we won't be getting overseas deliveries at some point. I don't know. Here's your info overlays. You can click on each one to show it. I don't fool with that. Always show occupied space, workers, problems, vehicles. I don't fool with it. Go to town hall. We can't do that yet because the town hall does not exist yet. We're going to place our tent city. If I click on it, it will take me to the tent city town hall. Now let's talk about this. We're still paused, and as you see, the autosave popped up. Alright, and over here they're telling me I need to make a specific building. Over here on my camp center, and that's basically the tented version of the town hall. There's the population again. Looky here. Now we've got green areas, but there's 2 red. These two red are very important at the beginning of the game. We have open vacancies. We have unemployment, 94%. All right. Working, 18 adults. It just breaks it down. This breaks down their age group. Economy. This area is going to list your stored products. Breaks it down, and all the totals here. All this over in here is a spreadsheet, basically. Telling you where you're making money, where you're spending money, and then it breaks down and puts it up here. This area right here, you see right there? Until we build a town hall, we can't do anything here, so it's not got anything in that area. We're going to need that at some point. And it tells you what the camp center is. Allow migration, it's check marked. That means people will come in from off the map. But for starters, they're going to leave as temp camp. There's the mayor. Say hello, mayor. Hello. Also, we got to have guys to build our houses. There they are, right there. They're not in there yet because the game is paused, but you see the slots. That's where they're going to go. All right, now, I want you to remember one important fact when you're building. You want to build close to each other. And when I say that, I'm talking about your houses close to your production buildings. If you build your production buildings all the way up there and your house is down here somewhere, most of the people are going to spend all their time going from work to home to work. And you're not going to get anything done. Now, let's talk about something here. You see this cart park here? It's a temporary one. We'll be able to build a permanent one later. But this is the first building you can control the spending on. And if you will click here, laborers, I know men are the only ones that can use the carts. Unless they've changed it recently. So let's go down here, and I'm going to pay my laborers 50%. And I'm going to hit apply to all. Apply to all only really works if you've got more than one of the same structure. But I do it out of habit, so I can make sure I do it. Now, you can control the number of laborers with that slide bar right there. Right now it's set for 20, but if you slide it, you can change it. You will see a lot of these on the game. Just so you know, that's what that's for. Now, what's going to happen here is, let's say there's a default amount of money my people are collecting for doing a job. Until I get the town hall built where I can control how much they get. And what's going to happen here is I've told them that they get to collect 50% of their monthly wage when they get paid. So what that does is, say the monthly wage is $2 a month. They're only going to get paid $1 a month. And what that does is slows down the spending until I get a town hall built. And worst comes to worst, once they get in houses, and even here, I can give them money if they need it. But I have got to slow down the spending because you will go through this money before you realize it. Now, they want me to build a forestry building. So I'm going to click on this windmill here. And there's the forestry building. Now I'm going to turn it sideways because it's a shorter distance for them to go to work. Because they just go in here, check in, and walk straight out. If I turn it this way, then they have to walk around or they have to walk over the other way. As you see this icon, it says no builders are here. That's because the game is paused and they're not in their jobs. But there's a couple more things I want to do before I hit the unpause button. First of all, you see these green little sprouts sticking up along the bank? Those are reeds. Now make sure when you do place what I'm fixing to tell you to place, you have those. See, this area would be a bad spot. They'd have to walk all the way around here to collect it. And given I'm only going to put one person on that job, it could affect their productivity. This is a thatchery. Now, if you look, that yellow area is my footprint, okay? I can't build this on water. That's what it's telling me. But you see, down towards the bottom of it, where it's got that little bluish area, that's the only way in and out of that structure. So, what I want to do is I'm going to turn it this way. I don't care how long it takes her to go pick the reeds up, because I am going to put a woman in the job. But I do care how fast it takes the production crews to go get the stuff. So I'm facing it out so the crews can come in here, gather thatch, and then leave. Now the reason I'm setting it to build this is because we only have 12,000 thatch, and I believe it takes 400 per house. We'll have to double check that. But we'll run out of thatch before we get all of our houses built. Right now, our biggest concern is getting our houses built. I'm going to do the same with the clay pit. Be very, very careful where you place the clay pit. If you place the clay pit in a bad spot, you can't get rid of it. I'm putting it near the bank so it's out of the way, but it's facing outwards so the guys can come in here, gather clay, and go over there. Now, if your city gets big enough, you may want to build a second clay pit somewhere, but that's way down the road. So these are the 3 things I know I'm going to need early in the game. Alright, but let's take a look at something here. This is our camp storage. We've got iron and we've got 1,600 nails. We're going to need some more nails. So let's make the smithy. And I'm going to spin it around. Let's see, that's the back side. This is the front side. And I'm going to put it right in there. Also, the smithy needs charcoal. So we're going to come up here and build some charcoal piles. Don't build more than 1 or 2 right away. Also, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to turn them to face each other. And okay. If you put something and decide to get rid of it, you may actually have to go slow for a second and restop the game to fix it. I'm going to do side to side because it's quicker for people to get in and out of there. And I think I'm going to do out. There we go. Like that. And if I hit Y, it goes the opposite direction. Yeah, somebody may have to go closer to do that, but I think that'll work. Also, these carts, if you look at the bottom of them, there's a bar. You can barely see it because it's kind of a light green. But over time, you'll start to see black creep in from this side. That's the repair level of the cart. They have to be repaired once in a while. So we're going to need a carpenter for that. He builds carts, but he also repairs them. And I'm going to turn it so you can watch him do that. I know we're also going to need a permanent cart parking. There it is. And see that bar on the back? That's why you always check. I can overlap it, see? Now I've got it the way I want it. Now, we're going to do some manipulation here once we get a few things built. But for now, let's start here. Now, what the men use the carts for is to carry bigger loads. The women can help by carrying stuff by hand. And let's go watch this because I love watching this. Do not build in the trees. I cannot stress this enough yet. It's too early in the game to be trying to use the tree area to build. And I'll explain why in a minute. In this case, if you'd put your forester in there, you would have had nobody to clear the land so they could build it. So put everything out in the open. Now look at them go. And I will tell you now, over time you're going to lose builders to do other jobs. And when you run out of builders, it's going to go really slow, or seem to. So now let's look on the forestry building. If I had more than one, I could click through them here and check them all out. Here is information. And it's saying that I need at least 2 workers. So we're going to go, first of all, I'm going to go in here and change this. I pay my workers 60% of what they deserve. Also, let's take a look here. I can hold 12 logs here. This is how much I can store here at the site. 10,000 wood, 10,000 firewood. See, this bark's grayed out. You don't need bark till much later when you're tanning hides, and you don't need that till after you get cattle, or you can buy the leather. It's going to start as a grade default. Also, we've had a new message pop up here. It says we need to build houses in the camp before winter comes. Remember we said something about that here. 10 is the temporary housing for city founders from which they will move into houses. There's no house to move into before winter. They will leave your settlement. This is crucial. You might get away with having one family leave, but if you get more than one family that leaves before you're ready, it's going to hurt you. Tent residents don't pay rent to city treasury. It means we're not even collecting rent from these people now. But it also means that I need to make sure the game is paused because I have till winter, which is around December, which is why we needed to keep an eye on the month at some point. Here's the houses. Alright. Now let's talk about how these houses work. They have a fence around them right now. They have an opening. Don't build them up through here. The trees have to be cut down. It will take too long. Trust me on this. I tried it. So now, I'm going to centralize all of my houses down the center and productions over to the side or whatever I need done, because it's easier for me to watch while I'm talking and stuff. You can lay it however you want, but you've got to get these first 9 houses built. It is critical to the game for you to do that. And they snap together, and you hold the shift. And I'm doing this way. You can do it however you want, but to be honest, I'd recommend you use my method for the first ones at least. And I hit Y to flip it around. Some people lay them around the map. It's, you know, within the area that they're building in. Others, they'll turn around and do something similar to what I'm doing. You can do it how you like. I just recommend doing the first one this way for the simple fact that you're restricted on getting this done by December. Alright, so I've laid out 5 on one side, 5 on the other. And as you can see, I made sure the gates were facing outward, see? Because there's only one way in and one way out of these structures. And the yellow area is the footprint. I can't put anything on there, but they will have some of their own trees and stuff that will pop up as they're built. Now, I only need 9 of these, and I've got 10. Also, you notice as we've been building stuff's been popping up right here. So, first thing I'm going to do is tell it I don't want to build this right here by clicking on this pause button. Another thing about houses is you can demolish them until a family moves in. So if you got one like at this stage here, you can just click and then readjust it however you need to do that. If it's built, you can click and have them tear it down. Once the family moves in, you're stuck with it. What'll happen is once a house is built, they will go over here and the people will move into the house, and this tent, whatever tent they are in, will disappear automatically. So let's talk about this up here. This is your icon area. This is part of what that UI size controls, okay? Right now we need to build the thatchery. We have some thatch, and the reason I build it early is I think it's 400 for each house, so I got enough to build 3 houses here before I have to start getting more thatch. It might be 4 houses. I'll have to double check that. They've got nails and they've got iron. Alright, we've got enough nails to build our houses, I think. So I'm going to put this as a lower priority by clicking on it and sliding it. And I'm going to put it back there. Thatchery is the one I want because I need the materials. The carpentry, we're going to do the same thing. Carpentry can't do a whole lot without metal parts and nails, so we're going to put him behind the smithy. And there's no point in having a cart parking without the carpenter. So that's the order I'm doing things in. It's going to go from left to right. If it's paused, it will skip over it. So if this had been over here, if I left that there, it would have ignored that. If you have something that's in trees and they got to cut down the trees, the builders will ignore it until the tree guys get it taken care of it. That is why you do not want to build in the trees early in the game, because we only have 2 guys working, not 5. Alright, for now, I am going to turn one of these off because I'm limited on firewood. Also, this is your well. You've got 2 options here for citizens, for production. We have no production building, so I'm going to just leave it for citizens. But later on, once we get things like our cattle sheds or our tannery, we're going to want to check our water supply, and we'll talk more about that later. So let's go ahead and get it started because I've laid out my city. Now, the best way, if you've never played the city builder before, is to think about what you want to do and what you need. First of all, we've got to get a balance here. A really good balance between food, production, and people. And there's other areas where you're going to need a balance. And we'll discuss them as we go. And now I think this is an all wood building. Oops, I accidentally kicked on the guy. There you go, it's all wood building again. There's all my builders again. Now, before I put somebody in there, I'm going to put hire women. That'll free my men up to do the jobs where I need men. And this is a worker, so they're going to get 60%. And I'm going to click on just one. That's all I really need. Now, as you see, I got a thatch limit of 2,000. I've got a reed limit of 2,000. What she'll do is go pick the reed, then bring it back and process it into thatch. And she'll keep doing this till she reaches 2,000 on both. Now, we can improve on that later, and I'll show you more later about doing that. All right, we've started. It's March, near the end of March, and we've started on the first house. Yeah, it's 300 thatch, so until we get the thatch remade, we had enough to make 4 houses. Once we get the 4th house, if we didn't have this started, we would have had to stop production to get this started. That's why I started it so early. Thought I'd turn that off. Oh, I guess they're going to go ahead and stock it up anyway, so we may as well turn it back on. Well, maybe that was left over. Alright, so they should not deliver any more firewood here, so we'll watch that. As you can see, let's talk about our camp here for a minute. Our people like to sit down and visit and sit in front of the campfire. As you see, our carts are starting to wear down. We're going over to get water. We're going to our tents. Also, if it by some weirdness you need to give them money, you can do it right here. But you see how complete their supplies are? This is a sign that they came from off the board to start with, which they did because technically they came from off the board to live in the town. Now, we're going to run into a situation here where we have to start producing our own food. We'll hold off on that right now because right now this is what we need to concentrate on. Then that symbol means we can't find any wood. What's going on here? So we're going to pop over here and see what these guys are doing. Now what I could do, since I'm running short on wood, is put an extra guy in there temporarily. He'll process the logs and help them out. See? And he'll process the logs while they go out and cut. And our only problem was we were just starting. Now they're coming to get the wood and they're taking it to the building site. We're going to leave that alone for now. We're going to have to take that guy out of the job eventually because we're going to need him someplace else. And until we get our city hall, we're going to have to manually move people around. We can't set it up for seasonal work. That was something that was added with another patch, and once we get the city hall built, we can fix that permanently. But for now, we're going to get some logs and lumber and build stuff up. And I'm going to give them an extra guy to help them for a few minutes. How we doing here? She's getting plenty of thatch made, so we're good. As you see, one person can handle it. And they've already started processing the charcoal here. That's fine. It's ready for when the smithy's ready. And again, the smithy doesn't need to be ready until I get my houses built. This is the priority right here until winter gets here. Like I said, lose one family, you'll survive. But if you lose more than one family, it's going to cripple you. Now, you can recover from that, but you'll be working really hard to recover from it. The best thing you can do is get your houses built. And we're doing pretty good. We're mid-May, and we got this 3rd house going up, and they should be bringing stuff for the 4th, I think. Yeah. So they should be bringing stuff for this house. And the other builders should be finishing this house. Did they run out? It looks like they ran out of something. Probably lumber, since we had to fix that. Now, if we click on these houses, let's take a look at this. This is your family in here. Don't be surprised if you see a person up here too, because these houses can be multi-generational. They settled here 2 months ago. We can give them money here. This is how much money they have. Remember, with this area, this is what they have in their inventory. All right. Up here, it tells you what jobs. You can click on them individually to see where they are and what they're doing. He's taking a rest. That's what the benches are for. We're going to put some down in just a few minutes. Also, you'll notice there's some trails starting to be visible on the map. that's caused by these people walking. Now, we can control it to some degree, but there are no roads in this game yet. I'm hoping they'll put some eventually, because I'm tired of using the fences to control where my people go. But it is entirely possible, so if the lines drive you crazy, or you want established looking roads, I'll show you how to get that result. We're into June. Come on, guys. I'd really like to see this other house done before June. And we should be able to get these two built right here. Maybe start on this one by July. As you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left, and it says we need 6. And we're stocking up here. But we've got houses built. And our people, you saw, like to sit down. So we're going to click right here. And you know what? I'm going to put some trees on this road to make it look nice. And what's going to happen is, if you overlap, you can see the footprints. See? And that lets you place it. Sometimes I recommend letting them build the building before you put anything down. But in this case, I didn't want you to get bored watching me watch them build. Okay. And then I'm going to just put one bench on each section. See, they immediately ran to sit down to rest. Look at that. Well, I got that pretty straight for a change. Till I get to that one and say something. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Now you can put a bush. There's a bush you can bake. See there, a dog rose bush. You can put it in like here. One thing I would really like to see is some color added, like flowers. But this works. Also, these trees and stuff help control your paths. And I'll show you a little more of that later. So we're almost to July. Come on, guys, get the last of this built. Please get it done. Looks like they're bringing in some more supplies. There we go. Oh, okay. We're still good. We're still good. We're down to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're going to make it. By now, if you haven't gotten 5 built, you could be in trouble. We'll see. When we get done, we'll see what month it is when we get done, and that should give you a better idea. Now, if you want to learn more about the initial start of OSTRIV, I do have the Season 1 videos still on my site. And you can use those to get an idea of how it's been growing and what we started with as far as what the developers did. Now, see, the roads are becoming more and more defined. The more they travel it, the more you're going to see it. Some people don't like this, and again, I'm going to show you how to fix it. As soon as this is built, I'm going to start by building another area we're going to need. And as you see, there's no market, no housing, no jobs. As fast as we build stuff, we're getting it ready and using it up. Jobs will be covered with these 3 buildings, but there's also one more section we need to discuss, and that's food. And if your people are starving, they'll leave your town. So, I'm going to start with the simplest food production, and that is fish. First thing I'm going to need to build is a boatyard. You only need one at the beginning, and usually how much you need is going to depend on how many fishing docks you have. The fishing docks only work one way. You have to have a boat. So I'm going to schedule. And as you notice, my icons got bigger as things got built. But I'm going to set these 2 up over here to build. Also, we've got this fence line here started, so I'm going to go ahead and put a couple benches. See these trees came in as part of the house. Now we're going to take and put a couple benches down. Oh, I didn't hit shift. Alright. Thought I was hitting shift, but I didn't. And we're going to put a couple along in here. Now this is going to do a couple things. One of the things it's going to do is it's going to force them to walk further towards the center. The other thing it's going to do is give them a place to rest so that maybe they'll go back to work quicker. And I'm going to go ahead and give them a few trees. Now I can't place a tree right here because of this tree. So and we're going to come back to that, the rest of that in a minute. Now notice you got 3 more houses to go. So, and it is August. We're doing good. So if you do that, and see how they're cutting that corner? We're going to put a tree here, and they're going to be forced to go around it once the tree's there. And it's not perfectly straight. First mod I want to see somebody make, and mods usually come back after they finish the game and somebody else brings a mod into the game. You want to know what the first one I want to see is? A grid overlay so I can line stuff up and get it square. Yes, I know they probably didn't have it back then because they had no aerial photographers, and the guy probably used a string to go out or a stick to measure stuff, but it's driving me crazy. Alright, so we're going to put some benches around. Because the benches were facing the other way for the side there, we got to turn them around. And yes, I will be glad when they can add stuff that adds a little more color, like flowers. Also, typically back then, people, I gotta hold the shift button, people would have their own household gardens. It wasn't uncommon in the country to see a lot of families under one roof, maybe even have more than one house nearby, or a big house and everybody lived in it. But we don't have any 2-story houses, and also we don't have any gardens on the property where they grow their own food. And I'd really like to see that. And as you can see, that's the line that my house is made. The other side was a lot better than this side. I always have an issue with this. Now let's look over here. They're still building. We're going to need a market. So we're going to put a market over here, and I'm going to create a well area because that's a little ways for them to go to get a well. But I'm going to do this in such a way that it solves 2 things. I'm going to put a fence up. Well, before I put the fence up, I'm going to put an arch up. Now, I'm going to warn you now, I have a tendency to call this a gate. So if I refer to gate, it's referring to this arch. Don't go looking for a gate trying to figure out where the heck I'm getting a gate from. It's just for some reason I keep thinking of gate when I see this because I use them as gates. And I'm going to line the opening up with my road there, my path. Now, there is a bigger one you can use if you want to use it. Now I'm going to take this fence and I'm going to do this with it. I'm going to draw it out, and if you overlap the entrance, it's going to do that. You can't place it there. I'm going to come out about here. Hopefully I get this straight. This is one of those things I wish I had an overlay for. And I'm going to go about halfway because you have to go halfway because if it goes so far, they'll flag it saying that it's too big. See? Oh, it did work that time. Every now and then I get that message. Maybe they fixed it. Alright, so we're going to go this way. And to maintain control, I'm going to go about halfway here. And hopefully I'll line up on this better. But I'm going to start from the top upper because I have to deal with that gate. So I'm going to start here and see if it'll let me come out straight. It did. See when I went that way? That's why I started this there. Now, we're still planning ahead. Oh, that's not too bad. I've had them turn out worse. One end's a little longer than the other. It is. So let's fix this. I like where that one is. And we're going to do a couple other things here that's going to really be neat. First of all, I'm going to line this up a little better. And let's see if we can get this to work just the way I need it to. are no longer going to walk along this path if I did this right. Okay? They're going to go this way. Now, I'm going to further make a few changes here. First thing I want to do is get my well and put a couple wells in. That way they're closer to the houses. Be careful, it is possible to overlap the fences. That's why I suggested you might want to put the buildings in and structures in before you put the fencing in. Also, if you will notice, there's a tab on the well. Make sure that that is not blocked, because that's where they go to get the water. Let's see if it crossed here. Yeah, that one did. See? Don't want that. And that one's kind of close to the edge, so we'll just adjust both of them. I'm going to tell you. I'm leaving a little gap there for a reason. Alright, that's good. Now, we're going to further. We got to adjust that. We got a new message here. My cart message. We've been expecting that one. Oh, they're getting close. Lucky we got the carpentry building set to build. And I gotta make a couple adjustments here because I've got these just a shade off from where I want them. I want to have these about here. We'll do the same for the other side. But I'm going to move it over here a little ways. Also, I'm going to put one big one right here. And I'm going to show you what I'm about to do. I'm going to further control. Let's make it a smaller one. I'm going to further control how they get into this area. They're going to use that gate. Arch right there. Now watch this. First of all, let's get this fixed. Alright. And we'll get the other side. Hopefully it lined up right. Close enough. And right click to stop. You can turn off different things by right clicking it too. Once you start, see, right click, it stops. And what I've done here is created one way in, one way out. Let's give them another gate. Mainly it's for the people that work there, to be able to go get supplies. And I'll show you in a minute. So they're going to have two ways in and out. Alright. They're going to have two ways in and out. Plus I've got some additional areas to build in. There we go. So they're going to have to come in here or in here. Now, we got our wells set up to build, so they'll probably most likely go in through over here. We're going to build our market stalls. They're in the trade and transportation. It sells up to 4 goods to a citizen. We're going to click on that. There's 4 boxes on the front. The back has a barrel. Alright. So the best way to do this is just to go ahead. It's an auto build building. So place it where you want it. I'm kind of like leaning towards right in there. And it auto builds. Make sure you leave one side open on it so that the person working there can get in and out of the stall. And the person making supplies on it can get in and out of the stall. We're going to go ahead and build 4 of these. And I know I should be holding the shift button down, but right now I'm trying to see what I'm doing versus being able to build fast. There we go. Now they've auto built. I'm going to click on the first one. And I only want women to work here because the men have other jobs. Their wages will be 60%, while laborers will be 50%. And laborers are people that are going to run supplies into here. And I'm going to apply to all. It's going to change all of them. This is what I was talking about earlier on changing them. We're going to start with this stall first. And we're going to put firewood in it, if I can find it. It's in alphabetical order, but so for some bizarre reason, I always have trouble finding it. Also, we've got more than one market stall, so as you can see, we click between them. See? Back to the first. We don't have to do anything with these. I just went ahead and laid them out. I could probably put 2 more in this general area. But what I am going to do is give us a couple nice bushy trees to make it look nice. Kind of watch your fence line. You might end up with it overlapping a fence on the wrong side of it. Kind of watch that. Also, it's going to control where people go up through here. Make sure you put it over the edge as far as you can so that you have room to put another market in. A couple markets in if you need to. Now, I could put benches in here, but instead of putting them inside that area, because everybody and his brother that doesn't have business in there will be running in there to sit on them, we're going to put them along this path here too. And since it's going to be a busy path, we'll throw a few extra in this area. Now we've got them on both sides of our road. So if we've done this right, oops, wrong button. If I've done this right, spread them out a little bit. If I have done this right, what's going to happen is people will pretty much walk down the center line. Since I'm crooked, you'll be able to tell too. Now you will notice these trees that I planted, I didn't get them quite up to the fence line. So I can click and say remove this tree or leave it protected. I'm going to leave them alone because it's not going to hurt anything with them sticking out a little bit. Alright, so let's crank it back up. And I do believe we're building our smithy. Let's pause it for a minute. I got to talk to you about the smithy. Alright, the smithy. The main 2 components you want out of it right now are the nails and metal parts. We don't have horses yet, so we're not going to fool with the horseshoes. However, we're going to have to make some adjustments here. And I only need 1 worker. Alright, but also, I can determine how many supplies he has in this building. I want to empty this out. So I'm going to go in here and tell them to keep 2,000 in here. Alright. 5,000 charcoal is fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply to all. But one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit labor by hands and labor by cart. I don't know if I have any guys left for that or not. And they're going to run over there and empty that out. And then all that's going to be left in it is the nails I'm using for the current building projects. Also, we're going to need to go ahead and take him out of that spot. They've got enough now that they should be okay. And so he can help over here because he's probably going to take this job. We're going to hit a point where I'm gradually taking guys out of the builders to supply other areas. And by the time it's all said and done, I'm going to be left with 2 builders, which is going to slow my building down significantly. Also, you notice we have all of our houses built in time. It's November, so we made it. So using my method, you actually got done a little over a month ahead of time. I think we were actually done in October, but I got sidetracked building us a food area. Now I've got the markets here, and now they say there's not enough food for sale. Alright, we don't have any food for sale because we're not producing food yet. Also, no housing is available. We haven't built any more houses. I don't want to build my houses too fast. If I do that with no food in place, people are going to starve and move out. And once they start moving out, because of food, it could become really, really ugly. In some cases, you may lose 1 or 2 families and have new ones move in because you've got the food. In some cases, you may be out of food and it will get ugly. However, we're going to go right here and we're going to go ahead and delete this because we don't need this anymore and get it out of our way. Sometimes when you delete something, you can get some supplies from it. Sometimes you don't. Alright, so they've got all that moved, so we're just going to go ahead and go in here and turn them back off again. Here's our carpenter. We need to get him to work because he's got to fix the carts. Losing the carts hurts. until we run out of guys to work the carts. Looks like we're going to have to bring somebody in. I thought we already did, but let's pause a minute. Alright, and we're going to put in here 5,000 wood will do. And we'll just leave the metal parts at 30 right now because we're building as we need it. Also, we haven't gotten anybody yet, so let's just make sure we get somebody. There we go. Now also, they have built our cart parking. Let's stop here. We're going to have to adjust the pay here like we did at the beginning. Okay. Now, be very careful when you start building your cart parks. If you don't have enough workers for the carpentry building or enough carpentry buildings, you can overwhelm the ones you do have. So be very careful when you're doing this. Also, to transfer from the temporary park to your permanent, you click and drag. See that black line? That's showing which building you're going to. So if you had more than one cart park, you could follow the black line till you found the one you wanted. In this case, we only have the one. See how it's blue and moving now? So that's telling it to put it there. And we're going to keep going that same route. Now, they're not there yet, but they're showing that they're going there. See? And we're going to have room to build another one. But the first thing I want to do is get the ones I have repaired. And again, I don't want to overwhelm the guy that's doing the job. And I don't want to put another guy in there right now. So, we're up here building our boat dock. Fishermen don't work in the winter when the lake's frozen or the rivers are frozen. Remember that. Once we get the town hall built, we can hire and determine what seasons they have. We hire a counselor and we determine what seasons they have and we control them that way. But we've got to get fish going. I'm going to go ahead and set this for fish so that as soon as I have them, I don't have to think about doing it. Some of the stuff I am doing is so that I don't have to think about doing it later. This is done so I can hit delete and get rid of it. Now we got all of them over here. Let's let them get them repaired before I start doing more carts. They're going to finish the structure. Not going to put anybody in it yet. It's winter time. He can't build a boat until spring. However, I can get the laborers to stock him up with wood. So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and put 6,000 wood in here. I believe it takes 2,000 to build a boat. And I'm going to have people stock it up real quick. And this is the temporary workers running in here to stock it up. You have two types of workers. You have the laborers that have a permanent job, such as with the carts and stuff. And then you have people that don't work that are laborers that will get jobs as they're available. And certain buildings have that. We don't need laborers all the time for this building. Just right now while we're letting them restock it. Meanwhile, my builder's going to continue working here. And since I didn't remove a builder, they can finish this. Alright. And as you see over here, she now has 2,000 thatch and 2,000 reed. Until I use up the thatch, there's no need for her to do anything else. And I'm going to show you how to use up the thatch because we have the same problem right here. He builds up to like 20 or 40 nails. But over time, he will not use as many. And we've got 52 left there. On average, he makes 20 nails and then stops and does the cart parts. And we've now got down 2 carts, but they've repaired 1. Has he got one pulled in yet? No. Now you will notice with the carpenter, this is the area where he puts the carts when he works on them, and you will see this happen up here. And when you get ready to do your farming and you've got cattle, you can get oxen. Now what will happen is this carpenter, once you decide to make a plow, will go get the oxen, put them up in here. I think it takes 2. And they will stay there. And once he gets the plow made, he'll hook them up and carry it back out to the farm. You'll also notice my people have changed clothes. They are now wearing winter clothes. Alright, so we've got all of our supplies there, so I'm going to just go ahead and turn these back off. There's no reason to run them. And we're going to pause this for a minute. And we're going to talk about the fishing hut. Alright. I'm going to need a boat, so I'm going to go ahead and set that up. So he automatically starts building in case I get distracted at the beginning of the game. Also, you see this grayed out area? When you can get salt, and you'll need your trading post to buy it because we can't produce it, you're going to adjust this to max it out or how much ever salt you want to do with it. And they're going to start salting and drying the fish. I prefer to keep 1,000 salt on hand because when I buy it, I want to have 1,000 in each building. If you're going to have more than one fishing dock, I'd only put 1,000 in each. Now, I'm not going to bother putting any guys in here yet because it's winter time. And they're off building my wells in a few minutes, but there's one other structure I want to go ahead and build. Now, let me explain to you how the food production works. Fishing, other than making the boat, will immediately start happening. They will immediately start going out, and ideally I'd like to fill this all in with all guys, because if one goes home for the day or the month or whatever timing you want to call on it, if I've got 4 of the guys here, they will take his boat out. The boats are not assigned. So that means if there's a boat available and there's a guy available, he's going to take the boat out and fish. All of that is immediate. All right. You immediately start collecting fish. That means you have a food product coming in so that you can feed your people. Next is farming. Farming lets you grow your own food, and you will need potatoes and some kind of flour product. I'd recommend buckwheat early in the game because you need the windmill to make the flour product, and you're already using an extra person for the boat, which we can change around over time. So you can build your farm. Now, the cattle shed, the chicken coop, the pigsty shed, whatever you want to call it. I think they've got a name for it here. Let's see, it's got the farm, the windmill, the chicken coop, the cow shed, pigsty. Okay. The pigsty. This is the very last one you're going to possibly want to build because they take a lot of resources to keep fed. But anyhow, all 3 of these require, what do they require? Well, the chicken coop requires chickens, the cow shed requires cows, and of course the pigsty, you guessed it, pigs. And what's going to happen here is when you start building those, you're going to have to get them from somewhere. Well, you're going to have this trading post to get them. And what's going to happen was with your trading post up, you have to spend money. So there's a whole series of events that's going to occur here that will require a lot for you to get livestock. Now there's a way where you can buy a limited number of livestock, but still you're going to have to buy it. So that's why I recommend starting off with fishing. You can start with a farm, but keep in mind, you have to go through a whole growth cycle for the farm. Livestock's out because of not having the ability to get it yet. Now, a few people have actually got the farm to go early. You can try that. But this is my strongest recommendation there, is the fish. They can start fishing year-round right off the bat. And as you see, our money is slowly clicking down. Have we repaired everything? He's got one more to go. When he gets that done, we're going to click here to have him build us a 4th one. Ah, we got a well completed. I don't want this well used for production. I want my citizens to be able to use it, so I'm going to click there like that. Now this well will slowly fill up, but they're going to keep emptying it right now until I get the other well built. And they're going to keep using this one probably too. But as you can see, look at that path we've been developing, see? And as you can see, all those roads that were all those paths that were down through this area are gone now because of the fence. See, this one's starting to fade. In time, it will be completely gone. And we got another well built. So, we've built everything. We have a stable community. And looky here. We've got it set up to build boats, and we're going to have to put workers in. Watch this right here. This is your key right here. As it starts to thaw, this will change color. Once you see signs of it thawing, go ahead and start putting your guys in the building and start getting your boats built. He'll show up as soon as it gets completely thawed. We can watch the timing on this if you like. How we doing here? Still gotta get that one repaired. He may be out of parts. No, he's got 6. Up here it says nothing ordered because we haven't ordered that yet. There we go. Now we're gonna order it. So now he's saying that we have ordered it. If I click on it, it's telling me I ordered it here. Alright. And it's telling me right here I need 900 wood. I have 1500, right? I need 900 wood and I need 9 parts and I have 15 parts. Are we still working on emptying that? Yep. Alright, as you can see, it's starting to fade. So let's go over here. And I'm going to go ahead and go down to 2 guys because I know that's where it's going to happen. And I'm going to put 2 guys here and I'm going to put 1 guy here. And hopefully we're okay. Now we have plenty of wood cut, so this guy will auto move himself. I found that an interesting feature. Alright, he's going to start building the boat soon, and you can actually watch him build it once he gets all the parts. See there's the order right there. 5,000. He has 5,000 wood. He needs 2,000. So watch, he'll come out here and start building it right in this general area. There he goes. Then it's going to go down here. Be really cool if I could watch him slide down. He'll roll it over here to the fishermen. And they'll start fishing. I'm going to go ahead and get another boat. Now, because I have him stocked, he's going to be able to continue building my boats. And I can get them to go ahead and restock him real quick. And this guy's going to go out fishing. He's already brought 10 fish in. And the fish, she'll go get it, or I can have somebody bring it to her. I got a laborer by cart right there. If there are any men available to do that job. There may not be. And there's another boat down. And let's get the last boat. And we've got enough supplies here that we can turn them off, and then he can go get his own supplies once it's done. They're going to bring one last load in. And he can go get his own later. And there's the progress bar on him building a boat. Now here's the kicker. He's going to have to repair boats too, so we can't just get rid of him without paying attention to what's going on with him. Okay, we got all 4 carts. And he's going to build the last boat. He's not out there building it though. Here he comes. Now here's the deal. Alright, I need food, so I'm going to turn him off for now. I got to remember to watch my boats, see the little progress bar. If you do what I'm doing, do not forget that you got to watch that. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me an extra fisherman because he should come over here and fish. And that will go in and out as they need to cut wood. We have 20 fish. Now I could add right here to add more fish if I wanted to, but we're good. And if we click on this, we now have food for sale. So let's go ahead and build this last house. We should be able to support the 10th house. If you've done everything I've done here, you should be able to support the 10th house. They're still building it. They're going to get the last of these nails, I hope. Oh, they did get them. Huh, okay. Also, we got plenty of water, so we're going to go ahead and tear this down. It's in the way. And they're really starting to get fish in here, and since the guy's running back and forth doing the other job, I'm just going to be out of luck as far as that goes. I'm building here, so I can't get rid of any of my builders. My carts might be okay. Nope, they're going to be repaired here soon. And he's making nails, so he needs charcoal. I need to go ahead and turn that on because I've got plenty of firewood. Oh, clicked on the guy. Oh yeah, we got plenty of firewood, so they can stock this up. But if you like my video, hit the thumbs up. And if you didn't, thumbs down's fine, I understand. If you could leave me some comments on what you think I can do to improve the quality of the video, that'd be great. As far as gameplay goes, everybody plays the game differently. And while certain aspects of it might be better for you, other aspects may not be good for somebody else. My intent on this video is to show you how to lay out and get your city started, because some people are having trouble just getting this far. And I have done it here. And if you do exactly as I do, you can do it too. Now, if you have any issues, drop me a comment. I'll see if I can help you. If not, post a discussion on the game page. And if you want to subscribe because you're a new viewer or you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button down below. And there's a bell next to it. Hit the bell and select all. And that will let you know when I'm bringing in a new video. But as it is, that'll do it for today. We were gonna watch them finish building this, but it's gonna take them a little while. So I'm gonna let you go, and we'll finish that on the next video. I hope you enjoyed this. You have a great day and stay safe and healthy.